Hello, welcome to Dundrol's podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today we're reviewing the first book in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. This is The Eye of the World, which is the first book. It was published in 1990 and has a beautiful cover. uh, which I kind there's some cool interior artwork where you get to see some of the characters um, who aren't exactly like what they are supposed to look like in the book. Like Maureen, that's Maureen there. She's supposed to have like long brown hair that she keeps like unfurled. You know, like she keeps her hair down, right? And like here, she looks blonde, but it's supposed to be brown. And there's a lion. So yeah, I like this. I like this book. This is one of the first fantasy books I read like from cover back to cover, cover to back, and this is like This is 782 pages. The main story is 782 pages, and the rest is just a glossary, and um, you get a preview of the second book, right? Which is the hunt for the horn, the Great Hunt. Yeah, hunt. Yeah. So I really enjoyed this book, and yeah, the story is basically about which if you've played the Dragon Age games, this is gonna sound familiar to you because like lot of stuff in this book remind me of Dragon Age. I I remember like reading this book and playing Dragon Age at the time, and I was like, "Holy shit! Dragon Age ripped off so much from this book, right?" Which the premise of the book is basically about you have these like four youths in this town. There's the main character Ran Alfor, who's a shepherd. You have Perrin, who's like a blacksmith apprentice, and Matt, who's like the prankster of their village, right? And you have like Egwin, who is like the young love interest of Ran Alfor, who are living in this town called the Two Rivers in Edmonds Field. It's basically like the sticks in this country, right? And what happens is they're leaving. They're living a peaceful life. It's like winter time. It's practically Christmas uh, where they live. It's like they're getting ready to celebrate Beltane when their village is attacked by Trollocs. Which Trollocs are basically these like beast men who have horns and like they have either hooves or feet like men, and their faces uh, are either like wolves, like goats, or sometimes they have beaks, right? Right, and their village gets attacked by Trollocs. And while that's going on, there were two people there, and A Shaddai, which is what this world is calls their sorceress, and a warder, which are people who fight the minions of the Dark One, which is basically this world's version of the Dark Lord, right? Because this is Tolkien esque epic fantasy, right? And what happens is that the Trollocs get defeated, but our three youths, Egwene just goes along with them because she wants to be an Aes Sedai, right? Because in this world, men used to be able to use magic, right? Which comes from this force called the True Source, right? But it got tainted by the evil, like the evil lord of this world, the basically Satan, which they call Shaitan, who tainted it. So like men who use the magic power will go mad, right? And that he did that because you have this Messiah figure who every couple hundred years gets reborn and defeats the Dark One's minions, who's called the Dragon. Who's called the Dragon, right? Which he appropriated the name of dragon to the point where people don't even know what a real dragon looks like. When they think dragon, they think of the male A Shaddai, which is like a wizard conqueror, right? Yeah, so like what happens is that the A Shaddai Moraine and her warder Lan tell them they have to come with them to Tar Valon, which is where it's the fortress of the A Shaddai, who are the sorcerer women who fight the minions of the Dark Ones with their warders, which are warriors, right? And yeah, our characters go on this epic journey where they're are getting chased by minions of the Dark One, right? And while they're on this journey, they kind of learn like what their special powers and abilities are, right? You have one character who can talk to wolves. You have another character he's basically the Dragon Reborn again. And you have a third one who is who may have a maybe like from an ancient bloodline of people that were from that were settled in the same area that Emmons Field is today, right? And I gotta say, what I really liked about this book is I really like the characters. I know a lot of people hate the characters because they feel like they're not fleshed out, but I think that's the point. They're supposed to feel like people you would know in real life, like young people, right? And I really love some of the interactions with our character, especially with the male and female characters, because like especially with Rand has like awkward conversations with Egwene, his love interest, who without realizing it pisses her off, right? He's like, and there's like a line in the book where he's like, she draws meaning from words I never like meant or whatever, and it's like we've all had that conversation with women, where like you say something and they take it like another way, right? Yeah, and there's some romance here too, not just between Egwene and Rand, but with Mineve or Minev. I don't know how to pronounce her name. And Lan, the warder, right? Which he's kind of like the Aragorn of this series, but I feel like he's like kind of his own character. I really liked him, man. Like he was a pretty cool warrior character who constantly like talks down to the two rivers people because they're country oafs and stuff. Yeah, and like I really like the book because like not only are the characters, in my opinion, likable and like the dialogue is very good, but the world feels lived in with lots of mythology with like the different places and different terms. Like the magic system in this book is pretty cool, and I really liked the sense of scale of power that magic users have in this world. The magic users in this book make the magic users in some of the other fantasy books I reviewed look like fucking like magician, like performing magicians, man. They're like, it's like comparing a Super Saiyan from Dragon Ball Z to like Yamcha or something. They're like, holy shit! Some of the stuff they can do in this book. Which there's a preview of the book where you see like where you have like a fight between the old Dragon Reborn and the current the bad guy, right? Where the guy just levels a mountain and creates this giant fucking pit where his castle used to be around this mountain, man. Like it was pretty, like the sense of power scaling here is pretty impressive, right? Some problems with the book are like the action scenes. I don't think are that great in my opinion. They could have been fleshed out more. they could have fleshed out more, and it's like there's lots of like they go a lot of detailing into like if you're not a fan of books where like adventure books where they go in, where there's lots of like people sleep, like people walking and like eating and stuff like that, like boring adventure stuff, like there's a lot of that here. Right? And then like there's a point where like the characters are like for long periods of time, like some of their characters are like broke, and they're like uh, broke, and they have to beg for food, and not beg for food, but like beg for work and stuff. Um, which like that kind of stuff, man, I could do without. But I don't know. I really enjoyed the book, and like lots of different enemy creatures, uh, which I really like in fantasy worlds. I don't like it when there's like one or two monsters. Like there's lots of monsters in this book and enemy types, and then there's like it's funny because I first read this book like a decade ago, and it's amazing how much stuff I forgot. Like when they go into the Blight, which is like their version of Mordor. It's like there's like Lovecraftian like creatures and not just wildlife, but even like the plants and trees are trying to kill them, man. It's like holy shit. Like I totally forgot about that. And then there's also like they fight like basically two like evil like at before like the final boss in the book, they fight like two like like evil like demon like human sorcerers called the Forsaken, and I was like, holy fuck, how did I forget about those characters, man? Uh, man, one problem I kind of have with the book is that not not there's not sometimes you need like a character or two to die, to give a sense of like impending threat, but like no, it's besides from one character who you don't even know if is alive or dead. They make you think, oh, there's a chance he might be alive. Yeah, nobody dies. None of the main characters die in the book, and like I thought like maybe one or two like should have died, right? But overall, I love this book, and I gotta give it like an 8 out of 10. Man, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So yeah, we've been reviewing too many good books lately. So we're going to try to find some like bad books to review. Next week, the restrictions are being lifted, so I'm gonna go on a book hunt, and I made a list of some books I think would be good to review for the channel, right? I did some research, and I found some like notoriously bad books that I'm going to try to find and review on the channel. But in the meantime, we're going to do some short reviews, so we're not going to review like big 700 800 books 700 800 page books. I need a break from reading like long books, so we're going to do like we're going to review some shorter books, right? So I have 3 books. I just dropped the wheel time. So I got 3 books here that are shorter, that are like 400 or less, right? There's the first Dragonlance book. There's Demon City Shinjuku, which is not fantasy, but it's kind of fantasy. There's demons and monsters and stuff. And then there's a Dark Hammer book called Lufer Huss. So I would like you guys to comment and let me know of these 3 books what you would like me to review next for the channel. And then by Monday, we'll vote. We'll count the votes, and we'll see which wins, and I'll start reading it, and hopefully I'll have that review up by next Friday, because I'm better now at reading books faster, so I should be able to books like this I should be able to finish in 4 or 5 days. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for this review, guys. Let me know, like I said, let me know which of these books you guys want me to review next, and I do have I do have access to the first 7 or 9 Wheel of Time books. I gotta double check. Because my mom also reads them, so I can borrow the books from her. So we'll find out, like, sorry, we'll also review those too, right? I have the Great Hunt here somewhere, which is the second book in the Wheel of Time. I don't know where. I think it's. Oh yeah, it's under this big stack. Yeah, I have the second book, the Wheel of Time book here. Right. Yeah, so look forward to that review whenever we do